and I work with metal. I do a lot of jewelry. I do a lot of jewelry that moves. For example, I have this ring here, and you can spin it, and the stone moves also. There we go. And I do a lot of stuff like this. This was a prototype for I don't know what. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you want to just lurk, please feel free to lurk. Thank you. Yes, so I do specialize on fidget jewelry. It is a specialization that I chose myself. It's not something you learn, but it is something that I do enjoy making a lot. For example, things like this. There we go. There we go. So actually right now what I am doing is I am making a chain for this pendant because it has found a new home. Yeah, and I have like a lot of stuff. Thank you very much for the follow, Sheepbeard. Yeah, it is especially made for fidgeting. So there we go. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was cutting these. So right now I am making a chain for this pendant here. That will go into here. Basically be able to fit through so that you can wear it nicely. There we go. Hello, Asper B. How are you? How's the crafting going? Thank you very much for that social plugin, Headless. You have to get to shave. You like a bloody pirate. I don't know. Isn't looking like a pirate something good? It feels like it should be. I'm pretty sure that some people have that as a life goal. There we go. That was a little bit more violent than expected. Ooh, very nice, very nice. Just finished work, yeah. Look, well, I think it's all the question of if you comb your hair or not. Let me do this. So Asper B is also a streamer. She does a lot of crocheting stuff. Very, very cool. She, I hope I'm not misgendering you. Works at an animal shelter too. So a lot of cute things. No one begs for money and you're invisible. Okay, thank you. I don't always remember the correct things, sadly. But it's never malicious. You wear the same clothes too? You don't have a boat? Well, not every pirate has a boat. I think it's more state of mind than anything else nowadays. Give me too many of these. Where is the rest of the wire? There is the rest of the wire. I also need one small one. So the big jump ring will be the one that you close your chain onto, like where your clasp goes on, and the little ring is where you where the clasp is hanging in.
Greetings.
Hello, Saren. Oh, thank you very much for the resub. I think my noises worked. Let me just... How are you? Thank you so much for your support. Do you want a green smashling like always? We have dark green and we have bright green. And look, I finally fixed the color scheme on my top camera so that we can actually see the difference between the orange and the red. Dark green. Okay. Oh, let me write down your name. There we go. It's a green smashling. And it goes up onto the wall. Yep. Ta-da! Thank you so much. I think you can see it. Yeah, the green on the top. There we go. Yep. So now we have our two little jump rings. So make sure none of these are warm. Look at these little clamps. They are made out of titanium. And they are very, very fresh clamps. I made 3 out of 4 of them I made just yesterday out of some material that I ordered. Titanium is so much fun. Like, I cannot do much with it. I can do tools with it because it will not solder with my silver solder. So it's perfect for, you know, like making tools, for soldering distance holders, clamps, and so on. But I cannot do much more than that. But what the best fun about titanium is when you put fire on it, it changes color. So it changes color from like the silver gray to yellow to a little bit pinkish. I never can get that color with the fire though. Like it's, I think it's a very small color range. And then it turns very, very nice blue. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you have ever seen that. So here I have a stripe that we played with yesterday. It's really cool. And here you can kind of see the pinkish. I think you can also get the colors when you do it with like an electrode and by, I don't know, is it called ionizing? But you can also induce these colors electrically with an electrical setup, and there you have way more control over it. And this is how, like, the electrical setup is how it is usually done. I also seen once an artist that had made large gongs, like for, I don't know, I think he made some gongs for churches, for orchestra and some things like that. So he made them out of these really big sheets of metal, and they all sound differently depending on what you do with them. And one of them was made out of titanium, and he did a fire painting on that. Basically, painted a tree with fire on the surface of the gong. It looked very cool. It's not very precise with the fire, but it looks very cool. You actually can redo it if you sand the surface down a little bit. It's only like the top layer. Yeah, the gongs itself were also actually very amazing. Metal can make incredible sounds. So, and like his whole specialization was only making the gongs. It's very interesting too because, well, making bells, like the big ones that chime, is apparently has been a part of the metal worker profession, or well, goldsmith profession basically, for a very, very long time. And there is a manuscript from, well, that's gone forever. There is a manuscript from like year 3000, I think, that describes how to do it, along with a bunch of other stuff. And it has, that manuscript is very interesting. It has instructions on how to build a goldsmithing workshop, how to build a bench, and how to build a furnace. And also such stuff like enameling, how to mix colors, out of what, how to make nails. What? What was your what? You zoned out? Oh. How to make benches. Well, yeah, how to, well, no. Well, yes, how to make a goldsmithing workspace. So basically what they did, they actually did not build a bench. Well, they did build a bench, but they actually also just dug a hole in the ground so that you can have, with the table, you can have the right elevation, because this table is quite high. I think it is at around 90, 80 centimeters from the ground. So I'm sitting like all tall and mighty. A manuscript. Yes, in a manuscript. I do have like a transcribed copy here. It has also some very questionable passages, you know, like with what you should harden steel. So it's from Theophilus on Diverse Arts. There we go. Foremost medieval treatise on painting, glassmaking, and metalwork. Basically, this was like goldsmith's job. Let me see if we can find any pictures. So yeah, here is a reconstruction. Let me get all the lights. So here is, for example, sketches of reconstruction of a glass-making forge. Here are some painting of goldsmith's shop. Maybe I misunderstood the digging part. Here are some works from those times. There was somewhere, there was like an instruction on how to build a workshop. I thought it was in the very beginning, but it seems it isn't. There was like a sketch and everything. Oh no, can't find it that fast. But yeah, it's very interesting. Interesting read. Yeah, it is very cool. Let me get my light back so that I can actually see something. I think I need another pair of parallel pliers. To do stuff with them. So this is a little bit fiddly what I have to do now. Basically, I have to open up my jump ring just a little bit, clamp in my chain, and then close the ring as much as I can so that the chain does not slip out anymore. And then I have to solder it to the chain so it stays in there permanently. And that's a little bit fiddly. I don't, well, there are some jeweler's saws that are a little bit more out there, but I'm just using a generic. What I learned was called German saw frame. I did not know it's called German saw frame. In our country, it's just called saw frame. But I am in Germany, so no, I don't think you need really a brand name or anything. I think you can just buy a generic one. There are some difference in quality. So basically this is how my blade works, how my saw looks. So there are differences in how deep you want to have this thing. So the deeper you have it, the less control you have it, the less you have it, the less you can do it because you just cannot reach with your saw so far. There are differences in the saw frame, as in if it has this thing here on top or not. This is for tightening your saw blade in. I usually do not use this at all. I just tighten my saw blade by pressing the form a little bit together when I put in my saw blade and then releasing it when I'm tightened the screws. I have a saw frame that is very low quality, and I noticed this by how well I can screw in the screws. So for that other one, I actually need a pair of pliers to screw it so tight that my blade holds, and that should not be. This one is much better. Is it normal to bust a lot of blades when cutting harder? Yes, yes, it is. It is normal to bust a lot of blades. Just period. I think the thicker your material is, the easier it is to. Yeah, you're definitely not alone. The easier it is to bust a blade. So I think the most easiest to cut is probably 1 millimeter or maybe 0.8. Underneath that, it gets a little bit hard to cut because your material is very wobbly, which if you catch your blade in the wrong angle, it will bust it. And over that, what happens a lot is that you basically, when you are sewing, you get wobbles to the side, and the thicker the material, the less you can do that, and the faster you break your blade. Hello, Pelshak, how are you? And the longer you need to sew through something, the higher the chances that you will bust your blade. I do find, however, that if your material is harder, your sew line will probably be a little bit better, because generally you are moving a little bit slower through the material and therefore can correct little deviations a little bit better. You got the dust. Yeah, the magic sand, the magic dirt. I have a piece of solder here that I cannot identify. There we go. Thank you very much for being here. Hope to see you soon.
Hello, friend.
Oh, hello, friend. Greetings back to the bus. There we go. Easy and painless. Very good. So the chain is still moving. These two are soldered in. Now let me get the other side. Do I have 42 now? Do I have my measuring tape in here? Yes. Well, I'm not sure if the titanium that I have is surgical, but I did just recently, and then recently, I mean yesterday, sewn a few of the stripes apart that I have to make clamps. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, no, it isn't. Is it? Let me measure that. Let me measure that 4 times, please. So I know that you cannot solder titanium. I know that it is very, very resilient. I mean, kind of okay-ish. Guess I can cut off just a little bit here to make sure that everything is up to size. Where did that go? That one just fell into the leather. How can you cut more massive chunks of titanium? I don't know, maybe with a lot of patience. Probably the answer is a lot of patience. So titanium dulls down your tools very, very much. And you can really, really feel it. I'm pretty sure the titanium that I have isn't like surgical grade though. And stubbornness. I doubt that a goldsmithing saw will cut it literally. You mean the titanium that is surgical grade or like a big chunk? It will cut at least a little bit. Pretty sure of that. Probably in thick chunks. You did cut it, but as soon as you stop, you're in trouble. Oh, you see. There you go. I still want to say complete walking stick, by the way, instead of complete walking smith.
Greetings.
You really got me on that one. Hello, designed by Joe. How are you today? How's the crafting going? Let me try to shut this jump ring a little bit more. Da, 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 da. There we go. Doing the 9 to 5 thing. Yeah, the 9 to 5 thing is a thing indeed. Well, let me just do a thing here. Oh, I did not want to shake you, I'm sorry. Designed by Joe is also a goldsmith who streams. So go follow him for more content. He streams more on the weekend than I do. So you can fill all of your time with goldsmithing streams. Isn't that adorable? He did make a very nice ring recently out of argentium from the film Spaceballs, which I have only a vague idea about what it is. Of course. Say when. Okay, okay, okay. Does the blade get stuck then? It acts somewhat in the same way on metal cutting machines, lathes, and mills. And the chips catch fire. Oh, it's a varied material to work with. Interesting. Yeah, the blade probably gets stuck. Well, that was a strange sound, but I will accept it. There we go. A little piece of solder. It's not a little piece of solder, but that's fine. I was actually wondering if I can just solder it with this torch. Very uncomfortable though. But I think I can. Yep, I can. People, it works. Yeah, the joys of soldering a tiny chain. There we go. I'll solder it in. Okay, so this goes now with the ends into the pickle to take off some of that flux. Only with the ends. Yeah, it is also to hold stuff in place, so that it does not, basically it does not just fling away. It is also to keep a little bit of the heat away, which is with small chains quite good if you can keep the heat away. So it has multiple uses. You want to get some and get back into it? Ooh. So yeah, the clay is a very interesting thing. It's one of my favorite tools. This is why my workspace is always kind of very dusty and dirty, especially the water. So it is a clay that you can buy in the stores here just for a face mask or to eat it when you have an upset stomach. And it is very useful in the workshop, as you see. Well, you know what? I need to do a thing so that I can hear my thoughts better. There we go. Ta-dum. Okay, this is our spaceship here. Okay, so I need to work a little bit on that. As you can see, we have here this thing, it needs to be cut off and filed to the right shape. And then we can go over all